Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something absolutely wild. We are decoding a fascinating, almost quantum architectural blueprint hidden right there within the Quran. We're mapping out a profound shift, the transition from visible biological bloodlines to an eternal, unbreakable lineage of knowledge. We aren't just reading text today. We're actually exploring a structural topology of nodes and fields to uncover how true authority is transmitted. It's going to be a real paradigm shift. Okay, let's take a quick look at our roadmap. We'll hit 1, the hidden source field, 2, the sky's dual blueprint, 3, visible kings, hidden queens, 4, the necessary silent collapse, 5, the ultimate reception test, and finally, 6, the eternal book lineage. Let's get right into it.
Section 1, the hidden source field.
So, when we usually think of lineages, we think of them as purely biological, right? Passed down linearly from father to son. But to really grasp this blueprint, we have to completely rethink the root word Usually we translate this as mother, but structurally, it actually functions as the fundamental seed. Think of it as a source field, a state of unity before any separation into visible duality even happens. It's basically the matrix from which the book emerges directly, with zero paternal mediation required. To put that into perspective, this shows how the physical womb is really just a biological manifestation of a much deeper, unmediated transmission. In this Quranic topology, the absolutely doesn't rely on inherited human chains or scribal authorization. And this is exactly why the text refers to the al-Ummi, the reader who receives the transmission directly, totally bypassing standard human inheritance. It's like a direct divine download.
Moving right along to Section 2. The sky's dual blueprint.
Before any of this manifests on Earth, the system is quite literally written in the stars. The heavens themselves reveal the underlying engine with this verse. He made the moon a light therein and made the sun a lamp. And guys, this isn't just pretty poetic imagery. It's a highly precise operational blueprint for how information and light actually travel. Look at how distinct these roles are. The sun represents outward, deterministic emission. It's the siraj, the burning, active, visible manifestation. The moon, on the other hand, is the nur. It functions as this receptive, reflected continuity. It doesn't generate its own light, right? It receives and transmits. Active emission and receptive transmission. These two fields form the absolute foundational duality of this entire architecture. Which brings us to Section 3, visible kings, hidden queens. Now here's where it gets really interesting. That celestial blueprint we just looked at, it downloads directly into human history. The earthly circuit flows through very specific human nodes. It starts with visible earthly kingdom in Dawood, then crosses over into the surrendered perception of the Queen of Sheba, moves to the direct word in Isa, anchors in the ultimate receptive source of Maryam, and finally seals the return flow through Suleiman. It's a perfectly synchronized historical circuit. Think back to the sun and the moon. Here, we see the lamp, that sun-like outward emission, manifesting as male kingship. Dawood and Suleiman govern the highly visible side, kingdom, iron, mountains, outward authority. But the moon, the receptive light side, becomes the hidden perception of the queen and Maryam. Maryam acts as the ultimate source, receiving the rule, the spirit, directly. The visible kingdom is really just the container. The hidden, receptive side is the actual core of the transmission. All right, Section 4, the necessary silent collapse. For the inner hidden signal to keep moving forward, the outward structure has to face a profound test. The scaffolding literally has to be removed. Picture this. At the absolute peak of worldly dominion, King Suleiman dies, but his death is kept entirely hidden. He's just leaning on his staff, completely lifeless, while his kingdom of jinn just keeps laboring under the illusion of his immense power. And what brings it down? A tiny termite silently eats away at his wooden staff until, boom, the body falls. In one instant, the whole illusion of permanent worldly power just shatters. So why is this so absolutely crucial? Well, the outward throne must silently collapse so the hidden Ru current can totally bypass worldly authority and reach its true destination. Actually, think about it. If the outward structure never collapsed, we would forever worship the container instead of the actual signal. The visual support vanishes completely so the inward transmission, the word passing through Maryam, can stand entirely on its own 2 feet. And that perfectly sets up Section 5, the ultimate reception test. This deliberate structural collapse creates a massive crisis. When Miriam shows up carrying a child without a biological father, the people's reaction exposes their internal programming. They demand paternal, biological proof for what is a direct divine transmission. They prioritize their inherited, external rules over the living spirit standing right in front of them. This isn't a crisis of biology at all. It is the ultimate test of reception. Thus the stark warning, do not be the first disbeliever in it. You can actually map this failure across 3 very specific gates. At the gate of book reception, audiences fall into inherited disbelief, just blindly relying on what their forefathers did. At direct submission, they demand a mediated association. And at reasoned reading, they choose pure conjecture over clarity. At every single gate, they're choosing the golden calf, a highly visible, inherited lifeless contraption, over the direct living book.
Finally, Section 6, the eternal book lineage.
Having fully exposed just how fragile biological descent really is, the entire system pivots. Bam! O Yahya, take the book with strength. This activation command officially flips the switch. It proves once and for all that biological descent alone simply cannot preserve the light. Nuh's own son failed the test. The biological lineage of the Israelites inherited scripture, yet still fell into conjecture. The physical bloodline is literally not the true carrier of the signal.
The eternal continuity now completely shifts from father to son bloodlines directly to a book-to-reader transmission. This is exactly why Ibrahim is preserved in the fire. His lineage is purely of faith. It's why Muhammad, the seal of the prophets, is explicitly confirmed not to be the biological father of any men. The true lineage flows directly from the source, the Rahman, straight to you through the book. And notice the pattern here. This transmission always requires passing through the dark first. Yunus and the whale, Maryam in despair beneath the palm tree, the historically buried girl resting in latency before returning as unfolded pages. The system has to pass through darkness before the final illumination can emerge. So as you are navigating this explainer today, you stand at that exact same junction. The dual blueprint of the sky, the silent collapse of kings, the ultimate test of Miriam. It was all designed to point right directly at you, the reader. Are you going to rely on visible, inherited contraptions and human bloodlines, or will you receive the living book directly and step into the eternal lineage of light? The transmission is live. Are you ready to receive it?